establishment of Thembisa dates back to 1957, when it was located on the outskirts of the city, at a time when apartheid policies of separate development and forced removals were being implemented. Thembisa became home to many people who worked in the industrial areas of Pretoria, Johannesburg, and on the East Rand. In line with the government's policy of ethnic division, Thembisa was divided according to ethnic groups. Thembisa occupies a large, centrally located pocket of land between Pretoria, Johannesburg, Midrand, and Kempton Park. Administratively, it falls within the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipality, located on its northern edge. While Thembisa is recognized as the second largest township in Gauteng, the distinct boundaries of townships are starting to blur, with one area seamlessly merging into surrounding areas. The outer boundaries become ambiguous and challenging to delineate. When Thembisa is herewith mentioned, reference is made to the original central portion of the old township. The main thoroughfare through Thembisa is Andrew Maphetto Drive from the north, becoming Zierfontein Road towards the south. As the road crosses the R25 turning into Kempton Park, it becomes CR Swart Drive, crossing the railway line at the entrance to the CBD. CR Swart Drive links up with Pretoria Road, connecting southwards to OR Tambo Airport. The whole route has been turned into a BRT spine, thus linking the airport with the heart of Thembisa through a continuous public transport route. The railway line was originally built as the main connector for commuters traveling between Thembisa and work opportunities in surrounding white areas. Many stations on the line are now either dysfunctional or underutilized, forcing commuters to now depend on taxis and other forms of vehicular transport. Traditional townships originally served as temporary dormitory towns, characterized by rows of monotonous small houses of similar design. Economic activities were limited to spaza shops run by individuals from their homes, as well as small general dealers operating out of dilapidated government-owned structures, sparsely scattered throughout the township. Informal trade began to thrive in areas where large concentrations of people gathered regularly. One prominent hub of informal activity was the railway station, where taxis also congregated to transport people throughout the township. Over time, the vicinity around the station and taxi rank transformed into a bustling marketplace, with informal trading structures strategically positioned to follow pedestrian routes. Informal trade emerged as the predominant form of commerce in townships. Post-1994, formal retail opportunities, mainly in the form of shopping malls, were introduced in townships. Despite the influx of new developments, informal trade persisted, albeit shifting to new areas of congregation, such as at community facilities, outside the perimeter fencing and at the entrance of shopping centers. Given these circumstances, Thembisa, like most other townships, lacks a centralized CBD. Instead, its spatial layout has gradually developed into a polycentric structure, characterized by several nodes strategically positioned around train stations, government service facilities, and newly established shopping centers. Within Thembisa's polycentric nodal structure, 3 specific nodes requiring interventions are identified. The first node, Thembisa Main Station, boasts a large, impressive structure that was constructed with the intention of serving as a catalyst for the development of the surrounding area, to function as an integrated, transit-orientated development node. However, the station appears not only underutilized, but is also dysfunctional. Surrounding economic activity is virtually non-existent, and the infrastructure, including pavements and public art installations, is neglected and dilapidated. The entrance to the station is spoiled by piles of rubbish, indicating a lack of refuse collection, illegal dumping by the public, and insufficient maintenance. The responsibility of addressing the issue of rubbish rests with PRASA, who are ultimately accountable for the state of environmental cleanliness around the station. but presently sweep aside the rubbish. Secondly, the civic precinct, a centralized cluster of government facilities on a single large block, encompasses a community center, magistrates court, library, SASSA offices, and police station. Each of these facilities is enclosed within its own fenced-off area, effectively forming a superblock with significant barriers for pedestrian movement, resulting in unnecessary detours and extended walking distances. Despite the availability of various smaller portions of land within these individual enclosures, public space is largely confined to the street, which is in itself of a poor standard, failing to provide a welcoming or comfortable environment for pedestrians. Informal trader structures are located on the sidewalks outside the fenced-off areas. There is a need for additional services and facilities in this cluster, yet space constraints have been cited as a limiting factor, hindering further expansion. However, it is believed that a more integrated approach to spatial utilization and facility sharing could optimize space usage. Through more efficient urban design and by strategically integrating the street space with quality hard and soft spaces between facilities, accessible to the public without a barrier or fence, a more inclusive and inviting environment can be created. The overall usability and appeal of the civic precinct will be enhanced. The third node, Leralla Station, is located at the southern entry point of the railway line in Thembisa. While the area is relatively vibrant with many informal activities, it is not the station itself that fuels this activity, but rather the presence of the ShopRite shopping center and the pedestrians entering the development. Most activities are concentrated around the entrance gate of the shopping center. The municipality has erected trader stalls in an attempt to establish a market on the portion of land opposite the entrance. Yet, experience has repeatedly demonstrated that informal traders want to be as close as possible to the movement lines of pedestrians. This requires an innovative approach to prioritize linear activity over clustered market setups where the bulk of trader stalls are simply not used. Amidst the concerns present within these nodes, initiatives like the BRT Harambee expansion into Thembisa have left a notable mark on the mobility network. However, its potential remains largely untapped, overshadowed by the presence of excessive and overcapitalized pedestrian bridges at various intersections along Andrew Maphetho Drive. This focus on pedestrian bridge crossings with stair access in an environment where the majority of people already walk for long distances every day is a point of concern, and even more alarming when this is along a BRT route that is planned as a vibrant activity corridor. The erection of the pedestrian bridges that are out of scale within the context of Thembisa seem insensitive where an everyday resident seeking to go to work or buy groceries from informal traders and shops is already battling environmental obstacles. Residents navigate unkept sidewalks, broken pavements, infrastructure hazards, and unregulated pedestrian crossings, often encountering criminal activities and unhealthy waste materials strewn along routes and walkways. Negotiating environmental barriers, such as expansive urban heat islands devoid of trees, shade, and respite from the sun's intensity, further worsens the situation. Thembisa could evolve into a township distinguished by its unique character, where various nodes along a lively Andrew Maphetho Drive as an activity spine could serve as vibrant hubs of activity. Developing such a distinct township requires a pragmatic approach that not only embraces its individuality, but also enhances its unique attributes through innovative means. Presently, traditional town planning often leans towards the blanket criminalization of certain activities, overlooking the possibility that these activities might actually contribute to the desired characteristics that define the area's identity. It is therefore critical to assess existing policies and regulations to ensure they resonate with the true spirit of the community, while still upholding standards of safety, cleanliness, and maintenance necessary to foster an enabling environment. While significant investments from various stakeholders, notably National Treasury, through various programs are commendable, a shift in approach could further steer Thembisa towards integrated solutions that foster a revitalized settlement with a distinctive character.